All right, today we are going to tackle a concept that sounds pretty heavy, but is actually one of the most important and, believe it or not, intuitive tools in data science, the covariance matrix. By the end of this, you'll see your data in a whole new way. Let's jump right in. So, you know what an average is, right? It tells you the center of your data, the central point of gravity. But that's only part of the story, isn't it? Knowing the center of a cloud doesn't tell you anything about its shape. Is it a perfect sphere? Is it stretched out like a cigar? To really get what's going on, you need to understand its shape.
And that is the central question here. How does our data spread out or, bloom from that central point? This is the exact story the covariance matrix tells us. It's not about the where, it's about the how. It's all about the structure.
So, let's step beyond just that single number, that simple average, and start to uncover the much richer story that's hiding in our data's shape.
You see, the secret to seeing the whole shape of your data cloud isn't to look at each variable all by itself. No, the real magic happens when you look at how they move together. How are they connected? When one zigs, does the other zag?
And that brings us right to the core building block of all of this, covariance. It's just a single number that tells you how two variables dance together. That's it. It's a measure of their relationship.
And it basically comes in two main flavors. First, you've got positive covariance. Think height and weight. Generally, as one goes up, the other tends to go up too. Then you've got negative covariance. A perfect example is the age of a car and its price. As the car gets older, its value tends to drop. See? Simple.
And of course, to complete the set, there's zero covariance. This is what you get when there's just no real pattern. The variables seem totally independent. Like your shoe size and your IQ score. Knowing one gives you absolutely zero clues about the other.
Okay, so we know how to describe the relationship between two variables. Now, how do we scale this up to describe the shape of the entire data set?
Well, this is where the covariance matrix steps onto the stage. It's basically a compact little summary, a blueprint, if you will. It takes all those individual relationships we just talked about and bundles them up into one package that gives us the complete geometric picture of our data.
Let's build this picture up piece by piece. First, imagine your variables have no relationship at all. They're uncorrelated. And let's say they're all spread out by the same amount. In that perfect world, your data cloud would form a perfect circle.
Okay, but what if they're still uncorrelated, but one feature is way more spread out than the other? Say, one goes from 1 to 10, and the other goes from 1 to 1,000. Well, our nice little circle gets stretched out along the axis of that wider feature, and it becomes an ellipse, one that's perfectly aligned with the grid.
And here it is, the final piece of the puzzle. What happens when our features are actually correlated? Well, that covariance, whether it's positive or negative, acts like a force that tilts the ellipse. It gets knocked right off the axes. The stronger that correlation, the more tilted and squished the ellipse gets. This is the key. Correlation causes rotation.
Okay, so we've got the visual intuition down. Now let's pop the hood and actually look at the numbers inside the matrix itself. What do they all mean?
The structure is actually super straightforward. If you have, say, D features in your data, like height, weight, and age, so D is 3, then your covariance matrix is just a 3x3 square grid. It's just an organized table that holds the covariance between every single pair of features.
And you can think of the numbers inside as having two distinct jobs. The numbers running down the main diagonal, those tell you about the stretch. And all the other numbers, the off-diagonal ones, those tell you about the tilt. So just remember, diagonal is for stretch, off-diagonal is for tilt.
And here's a neat little insight. Variance isn't some totally separate concept, it's really just a special case of covariance. The variance of a variable is just its covariance with itself. It's a measure of how much that one feature wobbles around on its own.
So we get the theory, we see the shape, but why is this so unbelievably important in the real world? Well, this is where it becomes a genuine super tool for machine learning.
I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from Christopher Bishop, who's an absolute legend in the field, says it all. The covariance matrix isn't just for looking at data, it's the bedrock for modeling it, powering some of the most fundamental algorithms out there.
And the applications are just everywhere. We're talking about principal component analysis, or PCA, which is huge. Gaussian classifiers, even things that sound complicated like Mahalanobis distance and data whitening, they all rely on this one matrix. It really unlocks a huge chunk of the ML toolkit.
Let's just take PCA for a second. What's it really doing? Well, it looks at the covariance matrix to find the axes of that tilted ellipse we kept seeing. Those axes, the directions of the biggest stretch, those are your principal components. It's an incredibly smart way to find what's most important in your data.
Whew, okay. We have covered a lot of ground. So let's just boil it all down and make sure we lock in the most important takeaways. Think of this as your cheat sheet. You see big numbers on the diagonal? Your data is very spread out along those axes. You see big numbers off the diagonal? You've got strong correlations. Everything off the diagonal is 0? No correlation, no tilt. It's a direct map from the numbers to the shape. Honestly, if you only remember one thing from all this, let it be this. The covariance matrix is a translator. It takes a grid of numbers that might look really complex and confusing, and it translates it into a simple, intuitive shape, an ellipse that tells you the entire story of your data's structure.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. Now that you have the tools to see not just where your data is centered, but its actual true shape, what kinds of hidden patterns are you going to go out and discover? Thanks for joining me.